Today we're going to talk about this crazy cryptocurrency market over the past couple of days because, the last time I did a price update was all the way back here where we saw the market cap of cryptocurrencies tank because CoinMarketCap decided to take out the South Korea prices in their average volume weighted calculated prices. Unfortunately, a lot of people panicked as a result of that. We saw these prices come down, and I talked about the market back then. Since then, we've seen quite a bit of a sell-off as the result of yet another event from South Korea where we saw one person basically say or talk about a potential widespread cryptocurrency trading ban in South Korea beyond what we were hearing about back in December. And then we heard some clarifications about that. It would not happen in the short term, and really doesn't seem like it's going to happen anything beyond what we heard in December. So now we're in this consolidation phase. Volume is fairly weak. We don't really know where the market wants to go next. And that's where we're really sitting right now. The entire cryptocurrency market as a whole is down for the day. This has not been a great day for cryptocurrencies in general, but there are some exceptions here. Notably NEO. Out of all the major cryptocurrencies, NEO stands and rises among the rest of them because there's a lot of excitement for a number of different ICOs that are going to be taking place on that platform. And because NEO is indivisible, at least when you try to withdraw it to a wallet, obviously you can buy it in partial shares or whatever you want to call it on an exchange, but if you want to have it in your own wallet, it is indivisible. You have to have it to a nearest integer, which means that gas is really pumping even more because obviously everybody is excited about the fact you can actually have indivisible, or opposite of that, divisible amounts of gas. So really we're seeing NEO and gas both go up quite a bit as a result of excitement over ICOs on that platform. I have no doubt that people are going to make a lot of money off of those ICOs. Personally, I don't think I'm going to be getting involved. I usually try to stay away from cryptocurrencies that are based on the Eastern Hemisphere. I've previously said that I try to stay away from cryptocurrencies based on China. That's generally true because, again, I think that the culture is different there, the regulatory picture is different there. Just in general, the way that businesses operate there is quite a bit different from here. I don't feel as comfortable with it. I also don't feel comfortable doing research on cryptocurrencies like that. I just made a video talking about investing outside of your circle of competence. Well, this is sort of outside of mine. However, I'm not against trading NEO, and I think there's a lot of excitement behind it now. I know that a number of people are excited about, China-based cryptocurrencies. I think Carter Thomas from Coin Mastery has been very bullish on them since the beginning of the year, and that's playing out for him right now. So if you want to get into NEO, it seems like now might not be the worst time in the world. Yeah, we're seeing it go up quite a bit, so you're not, you're going to be buying it near its highs or at its highs. However, it does seem like there's a lot of excitement here, and it looks like they're starting to deliver a lot more. Again, this is outside of my circle of competence, so I'm not going to say a whole lot more about it than that. But for now, it looks like it's a fairly interesting, a lot of people are moving into it right now. We're seeing a similar situation here with Icon, which is a cryptocurrency based in South Korea. Again, another one that's sort of outside of my circle of competence, but I've seen a lot of people talking about this fairly hot cryptocurrency. I don't know if there's a lot of substance behind it yet. I kind of spent a little bit of time looking into this, and it feels like it promises a lot. Again, I don't want to speak too far because I know that people will get pissed off if I do, but for now, it's another cryptocurrency that seems to be holding up well. And I know that it's another kind of flavor of the week, at least when it comes to all of the different, Telegram, Slack, and Reddit. We're seeing a lot of people talk about this particular cryptocurrency. So a lot of pump potential there as well. Outside of that, the market really hasn't been doing all that well. It's been sort of a mixed bag across the board here. Oh, and then we also had Vechain as well that had a fairly good day as a result of having an exclusive partnership with the National Research Consulting, I don't remember the rest of it, but basically they have a partnership with one company that then allowed them to work with two tobacco or China-based tobacco companies, which is exciting to a lot of people. So basically we're seeing a lot of, China, Japan, South Korea, Eastern Hemisphere cryptocurrencies doing well for today, with, obviously not all of them are doing well. We see them down as well, but a number of them, the ones that are up, seem to be in that area of the world. And I'm seeing a lot more interest in that area of the world, which can make my portfolio gains a little bit less exciting because I try to stay away from those cryptocurrencies. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the rest of the market here. Bitcoin. I'm still bullish on Bitcoin. My thesis has been intact forever now. I still think this Bitcoin dominance figure is going to go up to 50%. Some people are saying still waiting on $23,000. When is that going to happen? Well, $23,000 was really calculated based off of a more important premise, which is that this Bitcoin dominance figure comes up to 50%. So that's really what you need to watch for in terms of whether or not I end up being wrong or right over the coming months. I know that sounds like a long time horizon, but that's what I did back when I moved into altcoins, when there was a lot of excitement over Bitcoin Gold and then SegWit 2x. I moved a lot of my money into altcoins around that time, and then I held those altcoins through the slaughtering at the beginning of December when Bitcoin dominance reached 65%. Everybody was crying about the fact that their altcoins got completely slaughtered for 2 months straight. And then after that, we saw the altcoin bounce that everybody has been interested in ever since. And we saw this Bitcoin dominance literally halve. And we have, seen a role reversal where altcoins make the majority of the market. I have gotten to ride that up, but I have now shifted my altcoins since, I believe, around, I want to say December 20th is when I started shifting my altcoins into Bitcoin. That was back when the dominance figure was around 45%. And I've been moving cryptocurrencies into Bitcoin all the way down to this particular dominance figure. We'll see if that ends up being correct or wrong. Again, this is a little bit more of a longer term play. I think it's going to happen at some point here whenever one of those three catalysts that I mentioned happens, whether it's a hard fork, the Lightning Network hype, or some sign that more institutional investors are going to jump on board with Bitcoin. I think we're going to see this Bitcoin dominance figure move up again. I've said it over and over again. My thesis on that is probably not going to change on that for a long time, folks. So make sure that you realize that, I'm just going to keep saying buy Bitcoin for a while here. Plain and simple. This is a good opportunity, though, for those of you who have been looking to get into the markets and has felt that it's a little too frothy. This is a good time to get in. I mean, this is a nice little sea of red. If there's any cryptocurrencies that you weren't able to pick up back when, they were going crazy and every altcoin was spiking every single day, this could be a good opportunity for you. For example, I know there's a lot of hype behind this particular cryptocurrency here, Funfair. A lot of people asking me to talk about this cryptocurrency because it had a huge spike back from its lows in the beginning of December. Again, remember that most cryptocurrencies hit their lows back at, roughly this December 10th area. This is when this particular cryptocurrency was trading at 170 Satoshi. Then it came all the way up to 1.3 thousand Satoshi, and now it's trading all the way down here at 900 to 1,000 Satoshi. So we're coming down from those highs a little over 25% or so. A number of you have been asking me to talk about it. Personally, I don't like the long term for cryptocurrencies like this. I prefer cryptocurrencies. In other words, this cryptocurrency relies on adoption from casinos. I prefer a cryptocurrency that is the casino itself. I know that there's regulatory hurdles that are associated with that, but personally, I just prefer a cryptocurrency that does not rely on adoption from somebody else. However, that is just because of my investing rules. It has nothing to do with the fact that it can't be successful at all. I just personally prefer that. However, in terms of trading it, I know there's a ton of excitement behind this particular cryptocurrency, a lot of potential for it to pump. Again, no fundamental basis behind that. I just know that anytime, for example, if they announce a partnership with a particular online gambling website or whatever, it's very easy to see a cryptocurrency like this pump ridiculously because that's the kind of market that we're in right now. So does it make a ton of sense? Probably not, but I do think there's a lot of potential here. and I'm probably going to throw a little bit of money into this cryptocurrency. This is going to be, I guess, one of my kind of gamble cryptocurrencies, which, speaking of gamble cryptocurrencies, there's another one that I kind of bet on a while back that I think is doing okay now. It's not in the top 100 anymore, but let's see if I can find it. Here it is, Navcoin. So Navcoin was a cryptocurrency, I don't know if you guys remember, from a little while back where I talked about what is the next Verge, my speculative gamble, and I bought in at around, when did I buy in? I think I bought in at around 17,000 to 18,000 Satoshi. It's been a little while. I've just been letting it sit there. But this has almost doubled in levels against Bitcoin, which has been nice to see that happen. And usually has been doing okay when we are seeing sort of, Bitcoin not do so well. This cryptocurrency seems to do fairly well for me. So this has been an interesting pick to continue to hold on to. I'm going to continue to hold on to it and just sort of let it sit in the back of my portfolio. I think that it still really hasn't gotten that much visibility because the rest of the space has been pumping. As you can see here, I bought it back when it was rank, I think, like 90, and now it's all the way down here at rank 116. At its peak, it was at rank, 70 something, so I will continue to hold on to Navcoin and see what happens with that. Other than that, we've had Ethereum go crazy because, again, I think it was just time for Ethereum to really see a lot of capital move into it. I don't know if I would recommend buying Ethereum anymore. I'm still bullish on it. I still hold quite a bit of Ethereum, but at this point my price targets reached much quicker than I expected them to, and so I've locked in my profit, a lot of it at least to the point where even if Ethereum tanks from here, there's no way for me to lose against Bitcoin. I'm pretty much not going to. So the rest of it is all upside from here. I continue to hold a decent size in Ethereum. I know that there was a lot of excitement over Ripple because of the MoneyGram partnership where, I think it was a little overhyped because it's just a pilot program, but we saw Ripple go up, and then we also saw Stellar kind of ride on the coattails of that, as usually tends to happen because these two cryptocurrencies have a pretty strong relationship between each other in terms of price action, at least. I'm not talking about tech at all before anybody points that out to me. But Ripple really hasn't been doing all that well recently, and, at least since the MoneyGram announcement. We're seeing just a general correction from those exceptionally high levels that we saw it trading back just at the beginning of the year. We saw it all the way up at $3, which is, wow, that was insane, right? And we've seen it pull back since then, not only in a dollar level, but also against Bitcoin. Back then, I think it was, 20,000 Satoshi? Yeah, pretty much 20,000. Now we're all the way down here. So roughly, like a 30 to 40% drawback in Bitcoin levels. So it's been a pretty substantial correction for Ripple. If you're invested in Ripple or you believe in Ripple, may not be the worst time in the world to pick some up. Personally, I'm not going to be picking any up just because I don't love the long term for Ripple. But I can see arguments from both sides of the story. I'm going to talk about Ripple in a future video where I talk about why I don't invest in Ripple and why I don't like the long term from Ripple. Has nothing to do with, centralized versus decentralized. I think the real problem that Ripple faces is the fact that they've isolated themselves from, in my opinion, the two most important. See, in my opinion, there's really two ways for your cryptocurrency to have value. You either target the enterprise solution or you target the average Joe solution. And I feel like Ripple really put themselves in a position where even though they targeted the enterprise, the unfortunate reality is they targeted the banks. And I don't think the banks want to work with a third party. I think they really want to stick away from that sort of a situation. I think they want to move away from having to rely on Ripple at all. I don't think they want to use the XRP token or the Ripple network, even if it's more efficient, even if the tech is 100% superior. I think they're going to want to work on creating their own tech that competes with Ripple. We're already seeing situations like that with utility settlement coin. So in general here, I think the problem Ripple is going to face is that they tried to focus on banks. They're not delusional. They realize that banks are going to be part of our world no matter what. Unfortunately, I think the banks aren't going to want to work with them in the long term, and they've isolated themselves from average Joe because they're now called a banker coin. So I think they kind of stuck themselves between a rock and a hard place, and I'm not really sure how that's going to work out for them in the long term. Obviously, trading opportunities is completely different. So if you're looking to trade Ripple, again, very easy cryptocurrency to see pump. I wouldn't be surprised to see it come up from these levels at some point soon here if they announce some other partnership, even if it's just a pilot. Okay? And just in general, right, we're just seeing a correction in the overall market. I think that personally, this is a good opportunity to get into any cryptocurrencies that you like for the long term. I am working on a video right now where I talk about cryptocurrencies I like for the long term. I know that a lot of you have been asking me about that video. The reason why we're seeing delays in it is because if you look up any cryptocurrency, like top 5 cryptocurrencies or top 5 altcoins or any videos of that nature on YouTube, they tend to just be a list that goes into sort of like surface level analysis, not too different from what I'm doing in this video. And when I think about top 5 picks or top 3 picks or top whatever picks, I feel like there should be a little bit more detail involved that goes into the pros and cons of these cryptocurrencies rather than very surface level analysis. That I just not a fan of that type of analysis when it comes to talking about long-term picks for buy and hold in 2018. So I want to do that video right. It's still in production. I'm still thinking about how can I make that video as informative as possible so that if you knew nothing about these cryptocurrencies beforehand, you feel like you can be informed enough about the pros and cons, more especially the cons, before you decide to invest anything in them. So that video is still in production. It's going to, it takes a while for me to kind of get into all the information that is relevant to talk about in that video. So for those of you that have been waiting for it or asking for it, it's on the way. It just might take a little bit longer because, again, I want to do it right. I want to make sure that everybody feels like by the time they get to the end of that video, they're informed on why they should or shouldn't get involved with a particular cryptocurrency. So anyway, that's my brief update talking about the markets. I thought it would be a good idea for me to provide an update because it's been a little while and maybe have a slightly more, less formal talk about what's going on in the markets in terms of news that's coming out and why people are excited about particular cryptocurrencies over other cryptocurrencies, and just sort of lay on my thoughts about situations that we're seeing in the market. So this is a less formal style of video from me, sort of like a market update video, just kind of, again, no singular purpose for the video, just kind of going into detail about some events that are happening right now. Let me know your thoughts on this type of video. I'm not usually that much of a fan of this type of video because a lot of times that, other people that do this type of video often include some level of technical analysis or whatever else to make it work, and I'm just not a big fan of technical analysis. I never have been. I really just like the basic support and resistance levels, and that's really it. I don't even really use channels all that frequently. I certainly don't use Fibonacci levels and all sorts of other craziness that I used to use or try to use back when I was trading Forex and was obsessed with that, and then realized that it just isn't something I feel comfortable with because honestly I don't think it works all that well, with the exception of maybe a few metrics, and sometimes it helps for some people, but other people I think it leads them in the wrong direction because they trust the graph more than they trust their understanding of market psychology. So I don't know how you guys feel about these types of videos without all sorts of technical analysis. Again, I think most of it's bogus, so that's why I don't use it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Otherwise, as usual, if you would like to interact with me, make sure you check out my Steemit. I tend to be a little bit more active on there because the comments is obviously more manageable. So if you want a higher probability of response from me, make sure that you go over to Steemit and check that out. Otherwise, as usual, leave a like, comment, and subscription. Make sure you hit the bell icon, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching.